A 21-year-old from the Philippines just did something no amount of prize money can buy in tennis. She made an entire sport rearrange itself around her. Bigger courts, sold-out stadiums, broadcasters scrambling, ticket brokers watching prices move in real time. And she's not even a top 20 player. So how does someone ranked outside the elite tier keep bending the business of tennis to her will? Stick around, because by the end of this video you'll understand exactly how one player from a country with almost no tennis history turned herself into the most talked about story in the sport, and why the next 2 weeks in Washington, D.C. might be the biggest test yet of just how far the Eala effect can go. Here's the strange part. The numbers around Alex Eala don't always show up where you'd expect. Sometimes it's not the scoreboard. It's a press conference live stream quietly outviewing a 24-time Grand Slam champion. Sometimes it's not a trophy. It's a tournament in her home country that didn't exist a year ago, created specifically because of her. And sometimes it's not even her match. It's the guy who runs a steakhouse 3 courts away who suddenly has a line out the door. We're gonna walk through exactly how this happened, city by city, moment by moment. And stay with us until the end, because we'll get into what's happening in Washington this week, where Eala is stepping onto American soil at a moment when the demand around her may be higher than it's ever been. Before we go further, if you're new here, this is the channel for the stories tennis isn't talking about loudly enough yet. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because we're going to be covering Eala's run in Washington as it unfolds, and you will not want to miss what happens next. Who is Alex Eala? And why does this sound so sudden? If you only started hearing the name Alexandra Eala this year, you're not alone. But her rise didn't happen overnight, even if it feels that way. Eala is a 21-year-old left-handed player from the Philippines, a country of roughly 110 million people that, before her, had essentially no history of producing a tennis star on this level. She grew up idolizing the sport in a nation where basketball dominates every headline, every playground, every conversation. Tennis was a niche pursuit. Eala decided to change that. Her breakthrough didn't come from a slow, steady climb up the rankings. It came from a single week in March 2025 that nobody saw coming. The match that started it all. Eala arrived at the Miami Open in 2025 as a 19-year-old wild card, ranked 140th in the world. Nobody outside serious tennis circles knew her name. By the end of the week, everybody did. She took down Madison Keys. She took down Paula Badosa. And then, in the quarterfinals, she faced Iga Swiatek, at the time the world number 2 and a 5-time Grand Slam champion. Eala won in straight sets, 6-2, 7-5. Swiatek won only 48% of her first serve points and 27% on her second serve, while committing 32 unforced errors to Eala's 12. Standing on court afterward, visibly emotional, Eala said simply that she was in disbelief, that it felt surreal to compete with a player of that caliber on that stage. That win didn't just make headlines, planted a flag. For the first time, a Filipino tennis player had beaten one of the very best in the world, and an entire country that had never had a tennis hero suddenly had one. Dubai, where the numbers started talking. If Miami was the spark, Dubai is where you can actually see the fire in the data. At the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships, Eala arrived ranked 47th in the world and went on a run to the quarterfinals, beating world number 8 Jasmine Paolini along the way. That run pushed her to a career-high ranking at the time. But what stood out to tournament organizers wasn't just her tennis. It was what happened in the stands. According to tournament officials, ticket sales jumped 48% year-on-year, a surge directly tied to Eala's presence. Longtime Dubai tournament referee Hani El Khafif, who has officiated the event for more than 3 decades and watched legends like Roger Federer, Serena and Venus Williams, and Novak Djokovic play there, said Eala's atmosphere reminded him of only one previous moment, when Sania Mirza, the pioneer of Indian women's tennis, made her Dubai debut in 2005. Even Jessica Pegula, who won the tournament that year, commented on how loud and present the Filipino fan base was throughout the week. This is the part of the story that's easy to miss if you're only watching the scoreboard. Eala wasn't winning the title. She was reshaping the economics of the event just by being in the draw. Melbourne outviewing Djokovic. By the time the Australian Open rolled around, the pattern had a name. People started calling it the Eala Effect. And this time, the proof wasn't ticket sales, it was attention, measured in a way that's almost impossible to argue with. Eala's pre-tournament press conference in Melbourne pulled in roughly 196,000 views, nearly double the number for Novak Djokovic's own press conference, and more than 6 times the views for Carlos Alcaraz, who went on to win the men's title that year. A behind-the-scenes day in the life video featuring Eala, posted by the tournament's own channel, became the most viewed piece of content from the entire event. Her Instagram following had climbed to nearly 1 million, more than double players like Jessica Pegula, Madison Keys, or Amanda Anisimova. None of that is a coincidence. It's a fan base mobilizing in a way that traditional tennis metrics were never built to measure. A tournament built around one player. Here's where the story stops being just about ticket sales and starts being about infrastructure. In November, capitalizing on the surge of interest Eala had generated back home, the WTA sanctioned the creation of the Philippine Women's Open, a brand new WTA 125 event, which held its first edition in January. A country with no meaningful tennis infrastructure now has its own tour-level tournament, and it exists largely because one player made the case, city by city, that the demand was real. Philippine Sports Commission Chairman Patrick Gregorio has pointed to Eala's popularity directly as the reason the country was able to land the event in the first place, describing it as proof that sports investment and tourism can move together when the right athlete is at the center of it. Wimbledon, the moment everything changed again. If Miami was the spark and Dubai was the proof, Wimbledon this year was the explosion. Eala entered the tournament as the number 29 seed. She beat Renata Zarazua to become the first player from the Philippines ever to win a main draw match at Wimbledon. She then fought back from a set down to beat Maya Joint, becoming the first Filipino to reach the third round of any Grand Slam. Then came the match that will define this season. In the third round, Eala faced defending Wimbledon champion Iga Swiatek, the same player she'd upset in Miami 16 months earlier, on center court. It was, by nearly every account, the biggest upset of the tournament. Eala won a marathon opening set 7-6 in a tiebreak that went to 11-9, saving 2 set points along the way, before closing it out 6-2 in the second. She won 68% of points on Swiatek's second serve. She finished with 4 aces and 0 double faults. Afterward, an emotional Eala said on center court that she'd never been to the second week of a Grand Slam before and that it was amazing for her. And she dedicated the win to the people of the Philippines. Swiatek herself, gracious in defeat, admitted afterward that Eala's unusual, slower serve had been mentally tougher to deal with than she expected. The result: Eala became the first Filipino player, man or woman, to reach the second week of a major in the Open era. She rode that form into the fourth round before falling to Jasmine Paolini, but walked away with a career-high ranking inside the world's top 30. The tennis world took notice in a big way. Eala was voted the WTA star of the grass court swing, pulling in roughly 90% of the fan vote, beating out Wimbledon champion Linda Noskova and runner-up Karolina Muchova. Now it's Washington's turn, which brings us to right now. Eala has entered the Mubadala DC Open, the only combined ATP and WTA 500 level tournament in the world, running from July 27th through August 2nd at the William H.G. Fitzgerald Tennis Center in Washington, D.C. This is her first real test of the Eala Effect on American soil, in the country with the largest Filipino diaspora population outside the Philippines itself. More than 4 million Filipino Americans call the United States home. The field around her is stacked. World number 8 Alina Svitolina headlines as the projected top seed. Naomi Osaka is in the draw. Defending champion Leylah Fernandez, who beat the No. 1 seed Jessica Pegula on her way to the title last year, is back to defend. Madison Keys, Emma Navarro, and Anastasia Potapova round out a deep field. And in one of the most talked about pairings of the tournament, Venus Williams, a 7-time Grand Slam singles champion with 22 career doubles titles, has teamed up with Eala for the doubles draw, a pairing fans have nicknamed the Dream Team. As for the tickets, with the tournament this close to the first ball being struck, Resale listings for Mubadala DC Open sessions are currently ranging from roughly $50 to well over $400 depending on the session, with average resale prices for individual sessions sitting in the $100 to $175 range and climbing sharply for marquee evening sessions and finals weekend. Tournament chairman Mark Ein has already said publicly that this year's field is one of the strongest in the event's history, and that the tournament is expecting another sellout crowd following consistently strong demand in recent years. Why this keeps happening? So here's the real question. Eala isn't the top seed anywhere she plays. She's not a Grand Slam champion. By pure ranking, she's not even a top 20 player yet. So why does every tournament she enters see this same pattern? Packed press conferences? Ticket surges? Brand new events built around her? Part of it is her story. A country of 110 million people with almost no tennis history suddenly has a player who beats Grand Slam champions on the biggest courts in the world. Part of it is her results against elite competition. She now holds a winning record against multiple top 10 players. And part of it is simply visibility. In an era where a single viral clip can outperform a title, Eala has built a connection with an audience that shows up wherever she plays, in numbers tournament organizers are still trying to fully plan for. What happens next? Over the next week in Washington, we'll find out whether the pattern holds one more time, whether a player who isn't even the biggest name on a stacked entry list can once again reshape a tournament around her presence, in a market and a country where she's never competed before. If the last 12 months are any indication, betting against the Eala Effect has not been a smart move for anyone so far. If you want to see how this plays out, make sure you're subscribed, because we'll be tracking Eala's run in Washington match by match. Drop a comment below telling us where you think this story goes next, and we'll see you in the next one.